Hey everyone, welcome back to TCG. I'm your host, Good Dr. Dan. And along awaited, I actually did kind of down-res the camera for this video because it's going to be kind of long. As promised, here is all of the free packs that I promised. That's a lot. So that's why we're going to be here for a while. That's why I downgraded the visuals and turned down my power supply and everything so we could actually get through this video and not take too much space on my camera. So we'll start. So I hope everybody who does watch manages to get a couple packs or so and is able to improve their collection on the old Pokemon game. I started playing it for a little while, but I eventually gave up on that. It's not that I didn't like it, it's just, I don't have the kind of time to play a lot of that. I've been very busy lately. As I have said in other videos, I did start my own business and everything. I don't like to go too much into it. It's just something I like to do. Did start my own business, and so I've thus quit the factory life, so I've had enough time to make my skills a little better. So, trying to learn video editing and things like that. But enough with Dr. Dan's life story. Into the card world. So, if people haven't noticed, the TCGs all across the board are stabilizing. If you are familiar with anything that was happening recently, games like Flesh and Blood and Pokemon and Magic and everything were on the downtrend. Everything was heading downward. Everything is beginning to really creep down, and it was scaring a lot of investors, scaring a lot of people that got into it, and they really want to jump out. I didn't fully get out of Flesh and Blood, but I did take a knee, so to speak, on the whole thing, because just prior to I can't call it a collapse, the valley that Flesh and Blood currently is trending in, I managed to sell off quite a bit of my higher end product, which is good. It really helped out a lot of things, especially with the whole business thing. But Magic was on the downtrend because Zendikar was a pretty weak set. Ikoria, Kaldheim, Time Spiral hit pretty hard, but the short printing and the Amazon scams and everything else that was happening and kind of left a bad taste in people's mouths. The whole last block was relatively weak, minus Theros. Theros is actually pretty strong. There's still several very strong Theros cards. Pokemon released Battle Styles, which did not take very well. At first, it was very strong. People really liked the alternate art Urshifus and everything, but that also began to drop, and Chilling Reign managed to bring some fire back onto that. And Shining Fates was very, very, very hot at the beginning, but now is actually turning down more towards MSRP value. I know there's no MSRP, but there's MSRP value. It's around $50, $55 a box now, where it was trending at the high at like $85 a box. So it's kind of a big deal. Oh, camera didn't focus there. So, but what I mean by stabilization is now that the valley reached the end of its valley, it's actually starting to flatline a little bit, which is good. We want the flat line in the market so people can actually recover from their losses and begin to start making gains again. Oh, I'm on camera. There we go. So, with that being said, the new set for Pokemon that sparked up, and just the things I'm showing right now, our Chilling Reign actually has quite a few good cards in it. Quite a few cards in it that people actually want. Quite a few cards in it that are actually of value. And quite a few cards in it that are actually strong in comparison to Battle Styles. Which, like I said before, left a bad taste in people's mouths. And with the newest set of the two new sets that came out for Magic, Modern Horizons 2, which was an absolute thunderstorm, destruction, power bomb onto the market. Extremely high value cards in Modern Horizons in comparison to the limp-wristed Strixhaven. The only things in there of value are pretty much the Japanese alternate art cards, which there's a contention on those cards, but I'll get to that later. And Modern Horizons 2 came out and was absolute bomb in the good sense. And now the D&D set's out, which that's also another point of contention, is actually a very strong set. It's just not in comparison to Modern Horizons 2, as one's a standard set. It's a new block starting from Magic, and people are not into it. They're still stuck on their old ways from old sets. They don't want to change their decks and everything because it's new standard. And in comparison to Modern Horizons 2, D&D's relatively soft, but there's still a lot of really good cards in there. So, and then we go into Flesh and Blood. Flesh and Blood, Monarch, so this is kind of my own adage. This is the way I've looked at things. Most TCGs get to set number 4. So in Flesh and Blood case, it'd be Welcome to Wrath, Arcane Rising, Crucible of War, and then Monarch. Well, most games make it to their 4th set or so. Right there, that 4th set are like a 4.5. And then they tend to die off, which is very sad. But it's true. It happens a lot for a lot of games. I believe the 4th set of Force of Will, when it very first came out, is like 2014. No, 2016. 15. 2015, I think so, when this happened. Right around there, it Force of Will pretty well just shot itself in the legs, which is right around the 4th set or so. And it's been kind of true for a lot of sets, because Keyforge died, Transformers. Unfortunately, Transformers didn't die. It's actually very popular, but it got shot in the knees as well by Wizards. They just said, no, we're done, even though it was still a very popular game. Argent Saga made it to its 4th set, Echoes of Hoken, and then just totally bombed, even though it was still a very popular game for what it was, but it didn't manage to hold well in stores. The community, however, was very into it, loved the game, played well. I actually bought into it myself. I played a lot of it. It was actually very fun. But it died. And so that was the worry I had with Flesh and Blood, because you're investing into a new TCG, which can be kind of dangerous. And then there are people that have the MetaZoo on the mind, but we'll get that in a second as well. We'll circle back. With the 4th set coming out for Flesh and Blood, being Monarch, the game started to see its first negative movements in months since the beginning of the year, where we were getting to see extreme high levels of positive traction throughout February, March, April, into May. And it was right after May was right during May was the release of Monarch, the beginning of May, and that's when we started to see our very first downshift in the market. And right around that exact same time, I can't say that they're coincide or influenced by each other, but it happened. Everything began to slow. There's quite a few cause and effects due to all that. Bitcoin crashed, Dogecoin crashed, Ethereum crashed, Ethereum Classic crashed. All the cryptocurrencies began to collapse, and in the same trend, all the TCGs began to collapse. I can't say for sure if there's actual evidence of their coinciding and there being an actual definition of why it happened and what made it happen. I can't say for sure if it's actually just crypto, but crypto and TCG fell at almost the exact same time at the exact same rate. Except I would say crypto did fall a little harder, if I'm being honest. But with us seeing our flat line, we're reaching a good point for TCGs, because Pokemon is now in the recovery stage from Battle Styles, which it seems to have a very quick turnaround time, all things considered. For Pokemon, it's very fast turnaround. Magic sometimes takes about a whole year to recover, especially with this last year being very weak sets, in my opinion, to come out. The last good set that came out to me was probably Theros and maybe Throne of Eldraine. But for Pokemon, Shining Fates came out very, very strong and has since kind of, well, the light has burned out. It is just kind of embers now. So, and that being said, it's also was kind of the same thing for Magic and stuff like that. So, the flatline is good, and people shouldn't be scared of. I say it with air quotes, but not right this time. Investing into TCGs. People think you should never invest in a card game. Well, people who don't have millions of dollars of cards say that. There are people who want to abolish the reserve list, people who want to abolish ban lists, people who want to have infinite cards and no print limitations and things like that. But I won't begin to get into that. A flatline is healthy for the market, which means that we're finally reached the bottom and we're now on our way back up. We want to be on our way back up. So that way, people who bought cards a few months ago at the absolute high started to get scared and started selling out their cards for $25, $30 less than what they bought them for, or even 25, 30% less than what they bought them for. Depending if you bought a very high-end card, they're actually beginning to recover some of those losses. Some people do just collect just to sheerly collect, and that's it, and they're not really worried about any of those kind of losses, any kind of net or anything like that. But some people do genuinely have to watch out if they're receiving a pretty heavy-handed punch to their bank account if they have a lot of valuable cards sitting in their binder. So with the positive trend coming back up, strong sets being released for all TCG out there, Tales of Alara for Flesh and Blood set 5, which is actually a very good sign. I was very concerned that it was going to be super, super delayed and not even come out at all. The price for them is right around $180 a box right now, which has been slowly increasing as the pre-orders keep going through. The next set, Evolving Skies for Pokemon, has a lot of evolutions, which people love evolutions, and I have a feeling it's going to go over very well. As the Japanese release of this set went over very, very well, and people started hunting for the Pokemon Center Collector's Editions. People really wanted those. I'm not a fan of Japanese cards. I do like the quality of the card. It has very, very high quality cards, but it's not my thing. I don't speak English. Yeah, we'll go with that. I don't speak English. I don't speak Japanese, and I can't read Japanese, and I don't know the name of every single Pokemon that exists, and I like to just kind of pretend I know the name. So, with new sets, it's a good thing. Spoilers for the next sets for Magic coming out. People are excited. People are getting back into it. Unfortunately, during this exact same time of recording, mask mandates are coming back out. Social distancing is being pressed harder. COVID is kind of creeping up again, and we're hitting stage 3 or 4 or 5, depending on who you listen to or what you listen to. I'm not really sure if anybody cares about that, but that may put a small dent into some people's wallets, as in terms of maybe that might have to get out of work, or they might have to not go to their local game store, which may hurt TCG, but we can't tell yet. So we will have to see. As of right now, things are looking very good for TCGs. And I am excited because I am still able to get plenty of product at a decent price. I'm able to keep opening up packs of all kinds for YouTube, and I'm able to keep collecting cards. I'm trying to get a hold of more Modern Horizons 2. I'm trying to get a hold of more D&D. I've been collecting sealed product, which I don't really think is actually worth a video for me, but trying to get more sealed product to keep hold and that's going into the collection and moving things around and getting rid of bulk, selling cards, and trying to relocate my finances into cryptocurrency and stocks and things like that, just to diversify the portfolio. Sorry about the camera stand there. And, well, to me, I know that some people disagree, but to me, cards are an investable product, as they have been for like the last, 60 years, 70 years. And same goes for comic books. Those are an investable product. That one wasn't very long. So I can say pretty safely that with the recovery of all stocks and cryptos, which if people, as of August 8th, 2021, they are on an uptrend. Almost every single cryptocurrency is moving up pretty handily, might I add. Some are moving upwards of like 26 to 50%, which is pretty crazy. And new Pokemon set coming out. Very, very popular, looking to be very strong. So those are the kind of things that people want to hear. So now we're going to circle back to limp-wristed sets. Shining Fates. Shining Fates peaked out at like $95 a box. Not anymore. Battle Styles. I bought Battle Styles. I won't lie at all. I bought Battle Styles at $155 and $165 a box. Now you can get a case of them for $580. Yeah, needless to say, I lost quite a bit of money for Battle Styles. Shining Fates, I bought quite a few Shining Fates at $70-ish a box. Now they're $55 and lower. Zendikar, no real news about Zendikar. There's still quite a few good fetch lands in the super fancy slot, but overall, kind of a flop to me personally. But it could be a lot worse, all things considered. Monarch, causing as much turmoil as it did in the Flesh and Blood market, has began to recover, and as everything else has. So as for Pokemon, which I might end in the video talking about Pokemon specifically, I have nothing against it, but my focus for collecting will be changing a little bit. So I'll be selling off a lot of my stock, a lot of things that I've tried to collect, a lot of things I actually like to collect. I'm just going to stick to pretty much only full art trainers and certain specific cards that I'm looking for, and not just whole entire collections, as I was trying to collect all the shinies, as I have said in previous videos. That's kind of an insurmountable task that I cannot complete, and it's going to cost me far too much money to even try to do that. As I don't really enjoy buying singles, I like opening packs and getting them myself, but sometimes a necessity says that I have to buy singles. So instead of having to buy every single shiny card that's out there, I'm just going to try to focus on getting, full art trainers. And of course, I will be collecting, hopefully, a master set of the D&D Forgotten Realms Magic set. And hopefully, if everything goes well and continues to go well, I'll buy into Tales of Allura. Force of Will is making a comeback, which is good to see. I bought a little bit of Force of Will. And I continue to buy Magic, continue to buy Pokemon. I have taken a break from Flesh and Blood, but I'm not totally out of it. Just taking a break. I have noticed there's a lot of different labels. It's Shining Fates Elite Trainer Box versus Shining Fates. I'm not sure what that means, because I've definitely opened up pretty much only Shining Fates Elite Trainer Boxes, except for maybe like 2 or 3 products total. So, well, with everything recovering, hopefully everybody out there can get a hold of some of their own product and not have to break the bank. Speaking of breaking the bank, I have heard that some people were, what's the right word for it? Petitioning card prices and they use the term scalper and then stuff like that for what's the term? FOMO, I believe this is called, fear of missing out. That was a huge point of contention for all kinds of people out there, especially Pokemon players. No offense to any of them. I understand the struggle. I get it. Somebody goes to Walmart, buys everything that Walmart has, and then resells it for like a 50% to 100% increase. That's, you know, unfortunately, that's kind of just the market. Many people on the opposite side of the fence say that it's, what about the children? Well, in my experience, from the group that I'm part of, there's approximately 50-ish thousand people that I can say without a doubt are not children that all play Pokemon or collect Pokemon. And so it could be FOMO, which is a thing, unfortunately, and sometimes it does happen. And you miss on some products. Like I missed on all kinds of products. I just totally missed, and I have to buy it at a resale value. I didn't get it when it came out, and that's my loss, unfortunately. I know I sound kind of lucky for some products that I got, but I missed out on a lot of product for its cheaper price and had to buy a lot at resale. I'm happy with most of it. Most everything I'm happy with. The only thing I'm not happy with is Shining Fates. Because I didn't realize until I had purchased plenty of them how weak Shining Fates really is. And that you only get 3 shinies per box. Almost only 3. And almost only guaranteed 3. And most of the time it's... I already have it. Or 4 or 5 copies of it. So... resellers, they have to make their money, and you know, people buy the product, and in all honesty, if nobody bought the product, the price would go down, but people keep buying it, so the price keeps staying steady. For some, that's a very harsh reality, and for others, it's normal. I have heard of people out there that budget buying trading cards into their monthly budget, and they live off a very specific wage that they can't afford to do anything else. And some of those people say, like, well, my wage allows me to only spend $50 a month on TCG, and with this box being increased in price by 70%, I can't afford to buy even one box. And I understand that plight, and that really does, that sucks. I can sympathize with that. And then there are people out there that they make a comfortable income, very comfortable, and they just buy everything up. And some people do set enough money aside to buy things and resell them, and you have a very dangerous group of people out there that take out loans. I heard from a friend of mine in a distributor, I'll just leave everything unnamed. Full disclosure on that, I don't get any special product from him. He's a friend. That there has been a increase upon increase, just septupling all the time. Just as many tens of times of many people applying to get a distributor key so they can get pallets of cards and stuff. Well, this was right before Battle Styles came out, right around the Vivid Voltage time, right there during 2020 and late 2019, that there were so many people applying to get a license to sell or buy a product through wholesale that some people don't understand how much product was actually sold. And a lot of people don't realize how many people bought pallets of Battle Styles and Shining Fates and Vivid Voltage and Evolutions. They bought pallets of them on credit. They took out a loan for, I think a pallet would have been about $22 22,000, I think. I think it's $22,000 for a pallet of cards. That's I think it's 36, 52 boxes, which each box for Pokemon has 4 cases, I think. I think that's what it is. Depends on the size. I think you can also get a half pallet. I think it's 25 or 26 boxes, which is 3 or 4 cases. I think it's 4 cases. And they bought them on credit. And, well, as I explained earlier, some people really had to bite bullets on that, which that's not great. And those people sometimes are resellers, and sometimes that's their living. That's why I sympathize with some of them. There are some people out there that do viciously attack Walmarts, and I've seen it in person and in video, where an individual will go and use their arm to shovel every product on the shelf into their cart and walk away. Good for them that they had that kind of disposable income, but even me, as I sympathize with them, would never do that myself. Even if I find a product that I very, very much enjoy, I still don't buy all of it. If I go to a Walmart, I don't go, oh, well, all of these boxes are mine, or all of these packs are mine. I get an amount that I want to open or that I'm comfortable with buying, and that's it. Same goes for online. The only thing that I buy out is rats, which that's a whole different story. I'll eventually show my rat collection too. But there's the vicious, vindictive kind of attitude for buying cards, and then there's the I'm going to buy cards to open them or resell them, whatever, and there's I'm going to buy them to only resell, I'm going to buy them only to open, and the two sides really have a deep, deep-seated hatred towards one another. They really don't like each other. The individuals that want to buy just to resell don't care about the individuals that just want to open, and the individuals that just want to open really hate their resellers because the buyer's premium, if you will. So, that being said, as before, with the market recovering, that's a good thing. You want the market to recover so that way people that are scalping, to those who use that term scalper, I don't personally use it, but to those who dislike scalpers with a passion, they can't actually make as much money. If the market dips down, they're forced to sell at a lower price, and so you'll eventually get there. Well, now that it's flatlined, scalpers can't say, oh, well, I want this super high percentage because the market's not showing that kind of traction. 4 months ago, you could say that Shining Fates was an $85 or $90 box. Well, now you cannot say that. You can't, and those resellers, they can't really resell the product. They can't afford to. They bought it at $55 a box. They can't sell it for $55 a box. That's how much I was buying them at Walmart. It was $49.99 for a box of Shining Fates. Plus tax, that's $55. And you have to ship that stuff, so shipping, that's probably going to be like between $5 and $10. So you're going to be losing money if you sold that. That means you're going to be getting cards at a cheaper price. The market steadies. That means instead of having lines that look like this or this, you've got that. You want some of these little dips. You want these little movements. That way, you can buy cards safely. That means you can say, well, I bought the cards at this, then they go to this, I can sell. Well, if you bought all your cards here, well, you're probably okay. But if you bought all your cards here, then it starts to go down. You start to panic a little bit. And that's what resellers are doing, or scalpers, if you will. They panic, and so they start fire selling stuff. And that's what happened with Flesh and Blood. It really did. It happened with Flesh and Blood, and it happened with Magic. People began to fire sell things as they said, oh no, things are printed too much, and the market's on the downtrend, and I spent way too much money. Well, all of that's accurate. It's very accurate, but, as much as I choose not to engage in much of that, I do have my opinions on it, but I choose not to engage in any of it. I just buy what I can and sell what I can and open what I can. I don't really try to worry too much about any other things. Well, after a good 30 minutes of rambling and getting your free packs, of course you could not listen. You can watch the volume off. It's low to tell you now, though. This is the last pack. I have successfully gone through hundreds and hundreds of free packs. This is boxes and boxes and boxes of Pokemon that I've opened. And I tried to save them all for one video. So that way people actually have a chance to look through and get a pack or two, and they can incrementally go through and pause the video, put in the code and everything. And sometimes if somebody watches a short video where there's only 36 packs, they can't really get all their stuff. So this is what I do to kind of give everybody a chance. If you say, well, hey, Dr. Dan, I didn't get any packs. I'm sorry, I can't help you there. I did as best as I could. So I hope that was satisfactory for everybody. I hope everybody got some free packs. I hope everybody had a good time. If you did like it, if you didn't like it, please let me know. I'd love to hear your opinions on the situation of the market. I'd love to hear your opinions on the situation about scalpers. I'd love to hear your opinions about resellers. I'd like to hear your opinions about the market and about how Pokemon is doing or how Magic is doing. Feel free to say anything in the comments, as long as it's not hateful or discriminatory or anything like that. As long as it stays within terms of service. Ask me anything. I'm totally open, and I'll happily oblige and answer as many comments as I possibly can. If you didn't like the video, dislike. If you liked the video, like. If you want to, you can share to your friends so they can get some free packs. 30 minutes worth of packs. You have good odds. Get yourself some free packs. And as always, peace.